Welcome back to the channel. After years of silence amid endless rumors, Pamela Warner, the veteran actress who is now 70, has finally officially spoken up and shared a truth that shocked the world. What the public has been waiting for all these years has now been revealed by her. After all, what is that secret? Have you ever wondered what made Pamela Warner keep silent for all these years? If so, leave your thoughts in the comments section. And if you have any suggestions or questions, we are always ready to listen. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on upcoming special stories. Malcolm Jamal Warner, the name once associated with the image of Theo Huxtable on The Cosby Show, has captured the hearts of millions of viewers for decades. With his natural, intelligent, and charming acting, the role of Theo, the witty, sometimes clumsy but full of love son, has become a cultural icon representing an entire generation. However, no one could have expected that one day, the world would have to say goodbye to this artist at the age of 54 in an unforeseen tragedy. The news of Malcolm's sudden passing left the public in a state of shock. There was no warning, no sign of collapse, just a drowning recorded at the house where he was staying to work on a personal music project. Despite the rescue team's best efforts, it was all too late. Silence fell, and then both social networks and the media simultaneously mentioned his name with endless sorrow. However, behind that seemingly simple tragedy were a series of unanswered questions. Why did a person who was still full of enthusiasm and vitality leave so suddenly? Was it really just an accident, or was there something else that had not been announced? Doubt began to spread, not only among fans, but also among those closest to him, especially his mother, Pamela Warner. That woman, after a long time choosing to stay silent to bury her pain, finally spoke up. In a rare recent sharing session, Pamela Warner opened up about her son's last days, about the strange manifestations she had witnessed, and the strange premonitions that she still could not explain. These were not just the tears of a mother who lost her child, but the desperate call from an unconsoled heart. She did not conclude anything, but the details she recounted made public opinion even more confused and skeptical. Was Malcolm's death not simply an accident? In the last years of his life, Malcolm gradually withdrew from the spotlight to seek tranquility. He focused on music, independent films, and personal projects, away from the noise of the entertainment industry. But that did not mean he had completely withdrawn. On the contrary, he was still connected with fans, still nurturing unfulfilled dreams. Therefore, his death, at the time when he was preparing to return, made the loss more painful than ever. Initial reports about the cause of death were still vague. The information was leaked in small drops, the inconsistent announcement times, all of which made the public suspicious. Is there something hidden? Is there someone who doesn't want the truth to be revealed? Or is it simply a cruel fate that has taken away a talent? Whatever the case, one thing is undeniable. The passing of Malcolm Jamal Warner has left a void that is difficult to fill. He was not only a talented actor and artist, but also a part of the childhood and youth of millions of people who watched The Cosby Show. The image of Theo Huxtable, with his witty smile and warm heart, will forever be an icon, an indelible memory. The story of Malcolm's death may not be over, and perhaps, in the coming years, the truth, if there is one, will gradually be revealed. But in the meantime, all we can do is remember and honor him, an artist who lived his life for art and left a deep mark in the hearts of many generations of audiences. Friends and loved ones who worked closely with Malcolm Jamal Warner remember the final days before his death vividly. He was still there, his warm smile, his eyes full of energy, and his excitement about new projects he was working on. Malcolm wrote music, talked, and shared his unfinished passions. But behind all that normalcy, there was something vague, out of place, like an unpredictable low note in the music of life. Some people began to feel uneasy, a cold feeling creeping in, but no one dared to name it. And the person who felt that abnormality most clearly was his mother, Pamela Warner. Her silence after her son's sudden death only made the doubts and worries in everyone's hearts grow with each passing day. After Malcolm's shocking death, Pamela almost disappeared from all media lenses. No sharing words, No presence at the memorial service, and no official statement was given. The world held its breath, waiting for a signal from the only woman who could explain this pain. And then, one quiet evening, a statement released through the family's legal team broke everyone out. This was not a flowery speech, not a staged media move. Pamela Warner's words were the heartbreaking and sincere voice of a mother who had just lost the light of her life. "My son is the life I poured my heart into," Pamela said in a short video, accompanied by a tearful handwritten letter. "Now, I feel like someone has ripped my heart out of my chest." The words tore through the air, making millions of hearts fall silent. She told of the days of raising Malcolm in Montclair, New Jersey, the place where all dreams began. From the mornings he spent practicing guitar in the kitchen, to the phone calls every time he anxiously awaited the results of his casting. "He still calls me after every audition. He still needs me to send him socks when he forgets them at home," she said, smiling through her emotions. But the heart of her statement is not just nostalgia. Pamela also strongly denies the false rumors that have been circulating in recent days. She flatly denies reports that Malcolm is depressed or has mental health problems. "My son is not on drugs. He is not running from anything. He is living a life full of love and passion," she declared firmly. These words, though short, silence the world, because they contain not only the truth, but also a deep sense of unease. If this was truly an accident, then why are so many things unclear? Why do those closest to him feel that something is wrong? Pamela is not looking for pity. She urged the public to see Malcolm not just as an artist, but as a person, thoughtful, emotional, and always giving his heart to his audience. He wasn't perfect, but he was sincere. He loved his fans more than anyone else. That statement was like a final message, a desire to preserve his son's beautiful legacy from unnecessary noise. The letter ended with a sentence that would make any parent tear up. "I don't know how to continue, but for Malcolm, I will try." It was a promise, an extraordinary effort to move forward in the midst of desolation, to keep the fire burning in a house that had lost its light. These shared words shook the community. Colleagues like Keisha Knight, Pulliam, and Tempest Bledsoe publicly sent their condolences, praising Pamela's courage and kindness. But at the same time, her statement also revived a wave of suspicion that had been smoldering. If this was indeed an accident, why do those close to Malcolm still feel that something is wrong? Why are there pieces of this story that have yet to fall into place? And as people continue to reel in their grief, new revelations begin to emerge, making Malcolm's death no longer a single tragedy, but perhaps the beginning of a chain of unrevealed truths. So what do you think of Pamela Warner's journey, the brave mother who has risen from her loss? Does the truth need to be told at all costs, or is silence the way to protect the memory of the deceased? Share your thoughts in the comments section. And if this story touches your heart, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications to follow the latest developments in this mysterious story. When news of the sudden death of Malcolm Jamal Warner, one of the iconic stars of The Cosby Show, spread across the media, the public outpouring of grief was overwhelming. Condolences, tributes, and memories of a talent that had been etched into the memories of generations poured in. But amid the emotional outpouring, a lingering sense of unease began to creep in. Questions about Malcolm's death, which was determined to be a drowning, persisted. For those who knew him personally, the accident explanation seemed unconvincing, as if something important had been forgotten or deliberately hidden. The incident began late one evening in Los Angeles. Malcolm was seen having an intimate evening with a few friends at a quiet restaurant. According to witnesses, he was sober, cheerful, and showed no signs of stress or alcohol. Security cameras captured him smiling, waving goodbye to his friends, and driving away from the restaurant. His destination was a private residence in Beverly Hills, and that was the last time anyone saw him alive. Just 3 hours later, Malcolm's body was found in the swimming pool of that same residence. What makes things even more confusing is that the house where the tragedy occurred did not belong to Malcolm. It belonged to a prominent entertainment executive who was completely absent at the time. More significantly, he refused all requests for media contact and did not make any official statements. Furthermore, despite the area's reputation for high security, The house did not have a single working surveillance camera, a detail that was extremely unusual. No one knew why Malcolm was there. What was he there for? Who let him in? And why didn't anyone notice? When the autopsy report was released, the unanswered questions continued to mount. Malcolm had no trace of alcohol or drugs in his blood, just as his mother, Pamela Warner, had insisted. Her son was sane, sober, and showed no signs of mental illness or addiction. What caught the public's attention, however, was that the report found some small bruises on the back of his head and on his left shoulder, consistent with a fall into the pool. But it was this detail that raised suspicions. Why would there be injuries there if it was an accident? And why wasn't this detail clearly mentioned in the initial press release? Those close to Malcolm knew his character well. He was not a casual person, certainly not the type to take risks or show up in unfamiliar places. Malcolm always planned things out. He never did anything without being sure, a close friend shared. That made his presence at the strange house all the more difficult to explain. The story became even more mysterious when another close friend shared a final message from Malcolm, sent just minutes before his death. In a screenshot of the message that went viral on social media, Malcolm wrote, "I don't know why I'm here. Something's not right." Yes, it was an uneasy whisper, a final premonition that had yet to be named. The message quickly caused a stir in public opinion, fueling concerns that there was something deeper and more serious behind this seemingly simple death. Although there is no clear evidence, the chain of events, from the location of the incident, the silence of the homeowner, the strange marks on the body, to the final text messages, all suggest an incomplete picture. And the more people mention Malcolm, the more questions are raised, making this incident no longer a simple loss, but gradually becoming a mystery that both the fan community and the media cannot take their eyes off. The death of Malcolm Jamal Warner, in every aspect, is still an unforeseeable loss. But what haunts many people the most is the feeling that this story is not over yet. And perhaps the truth, if there is one, is still waiting to be revealed. Several seasoned investigative journalists, including Mara Jennings, have spoken out about the unusual details surrounding Malcolm Jamal Warner's death. They say it was not a single incident, but a series of confusing circumstances that need to be clarified. Colleagues who worked with Malcolm on The Cosby Show have also expressed concern, although they have chosen to speak cautiously. Some of them have expressed doubts about the official conclusions announced by the authorities. A series of questions remain unanswered. Why did Malcolm appear at a strange house, where he had no clear connection? How did he get in and out of the place without encountering any obstruction? And why, during his final moments, were there no witnesses who confirmed seeing him? Is there any possibility that he was lured or coerced to go there? Most notable is the puzzling silence from the CEO, who currently owns the house where Malcolm's body was discovered. The fact that this person has kept all information secret from the first day of the incident until now has led to more public speculation, many of whom believe that something is being hidden. Despite a series of suspicions and hypotheses, the death of Malcolm Jamal Warner remains an unsolved mystery. The investigating agency has yet to provide any further information to clarify the suspicious points in the incident. Fans, while waiting for answers, are still feeling uneasy and skeptical about what really happened. Malcolm, who played the character Theo Huxtable in the legendary series The Cosby Show, is not only a cultural icon, but also a multi-talented artist with a promising artistic journey. His sudden and mysterious passing was a huge shock not only to his family and friends, but also to the art community around the world. The story of Malcolm Jamal Warner's life and career will certainly remain in the hearts of audiences. But alongside those beautiful memories, the mystery surrounding his death will continue to haunt and be pursued until the truth is finally brought to light. Despite the overwhelming pain, Pamela Warner, the mother of Malcolm Jamal Warner, decided not to give up. Instead of letting the loss overwhelm her, she chose to face it, taking strong action to find the truth. According to many sources close to her, she hired an independent private investigator to continue investigating her son's sudden death. Meanwhile, the Los Angeles Police Department remained silent. only issuing a brief statement that the case was awaiting the final autopsy results. But the big question still hung in the air. Was Malcolm's death simply an accident, or was there a hidden truth behind it that had never been revealed? Just a few days after the heartbreaking news spread, the Warner family went from shock to determination to find answers. The doubts came not only from fans and the press, but also from those closest to Malcolm. His family did not accept vague explanations or sketchy reports. They wanted the truth, clear, unvarnished. In a tearful interview with a local news station, Pamela Warner declared firmly, "My son did not drown." Her voice was trembling with emotion but firm. "That's what they want you to believe, but I don't believe it for 1 second." The statement left the public baffled, stirring doubts about the official story that many had previously accepted. From that moment on, the wave of doubts spread quickly, far beyond the family. A heated conversation began in the community, a series of questions that no one seemed able or willing to answer. Malcolm's cousin, James Warner, who had always kept a low profile, suddenly appeared in a 15-minute Instagram live titled "The Truth About Malcolm." In the video, James categorically states that Malcolm did not commit suicide and directly calls on the Los Angeles Police Department to investigate impartially, without allowing racial bias to overshadow the truth. His indignant words immediately took social media by storm, prompting a wave of calls for an expanded investigation from the public, fans, friends, and colleagues. The Warner family is not backing down. Attorney Denise Calhoun confirmed that Pamela hired a private investigator, stressing that they will not stop until every corner of the case is cleared up. Malcolm's former co-stars on The Cosby Show have also begun to speak out. Tempest Bledsoe, who played Vanessa Huxtable, shared on Twitter, "Malcolm was more than just a coworker. He was part of the family. We will stand with the Warner family until the truth is revealed." Keisha Knight Pulliam, a former child star of the series, also expressed concerns in her personal podcast, stressing, "There's something very wrong with this story." Not stopping there, the Warner family continued to reveal many details that shocked the public. Pamela said Malcolm was secretly planning a vacation to Turks and Caicos to celebrate her birthday, a surprise gift full of love. "Does that sound like someone who is about to leave the world?" she asked, her eyes both sad and determined. Not only that, just 2 days before his death, Malcolm signed a contract with a major streaming platform to make a limited series about redemption, healing, and second chances, a project that was very meaningful to his life and career. Financially, he was completely stable, in good health, and full of creative energy, all of which contradicted the scenario of a simple accident. The family is now demanding the release of all security camera footage from the Beverly Hills home where Malcolm's body was found. They are also pushing for a second, independent autopsy to examine the unexplained bruises and determine the exact time of death. The Los Angeles Police Department, meanwhile, has maintained that there is no foul play, but their reticence has only fueled skepticism. At a candlelight vigil at a local church, Pamela Warner stood before hundreds of people, clutching a portrait of her son, and said, "They tried to bury the truth with my son, but I am his mother. I will not let that happen." The crowd erupted in applause and tears. With growing public support and unwavering determination from family and friends, the quest for the truth behind Malcolm Jamal Warner's death has officially begun, and all eyes are on him, waiting for the day when justice will be served. The sudden death of Malcolm Jamal Warner has sparked an outpouring of grief in the community that loved him, and has also rekindled a chapter of memories tied to the golden age of The Cosby Show. The show was once an icon of Black culture, where the Huxtable family appeared as an ideal, funny, warm, full of love and solidarity. But behind that perfect appearance was a harsh reality that few people knew about: the invisible pressures that weighed on the cast for years, from the moment the cameras stopped rolling until real life began outside the lens. Felicia Rashad, who played Claire Huxtable, wrote an emotional tribute to Malcolm. "He was mature beyond his years, calm, and always lived by principles." Just a few short sentences, but filled with deep admiration, moved millions to tears. But those words also unintentionally revived a big question that many people had overlooked. Why did a crew that was once as close as a family gradually become distant after the spotlight? Raven Simone, the once adorable Olivia, also spoke up with a thoughtful post on Instagram. She said that although they were as close as family on set, they all lost contact after the show ended. "We all have a part to play," Raven admitted, as a sincere confession, while also revealing the hidden cracks that no one dared to mention. But perhaps the most touching sharing for fans came from Lisa Bonet, an actress who always chose to live quietly, away from gossip. She left the show quite early, but was the one who understood the psychological pressures that Malcolm faced throughout his youth. "It's not always a gift," she said of the TV spotlight. "Becoming a star at such a young age means taking on a responsibility that even adults would hesitate to take on. But Malcolm did it, with rare strength and courage." Those words were a recognition, not only for his talent, but also for the silent sacrifice behind Malcolm's calm exterior. The tributes of Felicia, Raven, and Lisa were not only a farewell to a colleague, but also a door opening to untold hidden corners, about the lonely years, about the pressures behind the lights, and the silent trauma when the Bill Cosby scandal broke out, with many consequences for the entire cast. Malcolm's departure was not only a loss for relatives and friends, but also a wake-up call that the lives of young TV stars are not all light, but also have quiet, dark corners that few people are sensitive enough to recognize. As for Bill Cosby, an official statement released through his publicist from prison has drawn mixed reactions. In the statement, Cosby expressed his deep sorrow at the passing of Malcolm Jamal Warner, whom he called his son, and praised him for his professionalism, warmth, and remarkable intellect. Cosby emphasized that Malcolm was one of the few people who remained kind in an increasingly harsh world. However, the tribute was not received entirely positively. Many felt that Cosby's statement lacked genuine emotion, especially given the serious scandals that have marred the legacy of The Cosby Show. Some also said that Malcolm Jamal Warner never publicly defended Cosby during the incident, instead keeping his distance, respectful, but not close. This has led to the question, does Malcolm's silence reflect complex and conflicted emotions that he never expressed? Tempest Bledsoe, who played Vanessa Huxtable, recently became emotional while talking about Malcolm during an appearance on The View. She broke down in tears and shared, "There are so many things we didn't say to each other. I always thought there was time. There was a chance to make another phone call, have another dinner, laugh one more time. Now he's gone, and I wish I had told him how much he meant to me." The candid moment quickly went viral on social media, especially Twitter, and sparked a broader discussion about mental health in the Black Hollywood community. Tempest's words are not simply regretful. They reveal a haunting truth. Behind the spotlight, many young artists face isolation, pressure, and mental wounds that not everyone sees. Jeffrey Owens, the actor who plays Elvin, also shares a memorable memory of Malcolm. When Owens was publicly criticized for working at Trader Joe's, the first person to call him was not a journalist or a coworker, but Malcolm himself. There were no cameras, no sensational headlines, just a call between two friends. "He called to check in, not to stand out, just to let me know he was there," Owens recalls. The gesture was not ostentatious, did not need to be praised. It was just an expression of sincere friendship. In a world of entertainment where solidarity is sometimes just a mask, Malcolm was the invisible thread that held the cast of The Cosby Show together, even as they drifted apart over time. Now, after his passing, the question is no longer who said what, but what didn't we say? Did the aura of fame really unite them, or did it silently push them apart? And if Malcolm fought mental anguish that no one noticed, how many other artists are living in similar silence? The death of Malcolm Jamal Warner is not only a loss to those who loved him, but also a wake-up call to the things left unsaid, to the pain left unheard, and to the fragility of seemingly strong connections. To the public, he may have been a TV star, but to those close to him, Malcolm was a friend, a brother who was always there when they needed him, quietly but deeply. And his sudden departure has left a void that no words of gratitude can fill. The sudden death of Malcolm Jamal Warner at the age of 54 not only left a huge void in the hearts of fans, but also sparked a wave of suspicion with a series of unusual details that have not been clarified. Initially, the incident was thought to be an unfortunate drowning accident. But the more information was revealed, the more complicated and ambiguous the incident became, making the public wonder, was there something hidden on that fateful night? According to the initial report from the police, Malcolm was found unconscious in a lake at the villa he had just rented. There were no clear signs of outside intervention. However, conflicting statements from witnesses have made the public begin to suspect. One neighbor claimed to have seen Malcolm walking near the shore late at night, in full clothes, looking anxious. Another said they heard screaming and a heated argument right before the incident. Sirens sounded overnight, but no one really knew what happened. An even more shocking detail came from an anonymous witness who said he saw a stranger leaving the scene just minutes before police arrived. But the identity of that person remains a mystery. In addition, the house's state-of-the-art security system, including cameras inside and outside, suddenly had a technical problem at the crucial moment. An unbelievable coincidence, especially given the high-end nature of the mansion and the importance of the surveillance equipment there. The lack of further information and clear progress in the case has led to countless theories on social media. Malcolm's longtime manager and close friend has publicly expressed his displeasure on social media. In a tweet that was later deleted, she wrote, "Something is not right. He was very careful, never swam alone. He never put himself in danger. I cannot be silent." Although the post was deleted, a screenshot quickly went viral, sparking a fierce debate on multiple social media platforms. Perhaps the most shocking revelation came from a family friend, who revealed to Radar Online that Malcolm had left a cryptic voice message just hours before his death. In it, he said, "If anything happens to me, know that I am doing something bigger than any of us could ever imagine." This short but suggestive statement has opened up endless speculation. Was Malcolm preparing to release a shocking truth? A memoir? A documentary? Or something that could reach the most powerful people in the entertainment industry? According to a source close to Malcolm, he has been working discreetly with a group of independent producers on an exposé that will delve into the dark underbelly of the television industry. Racism in casting, the exploitation of child stars, and the way big media corporations quietly police dissent. If what Malcolm is preparing is truly taboo in the industry, it's no wonder the circumstances surrounding his death have become so suspicious. The lack of transparency from authorities and the mounting murky details are prompting Malcolm's fans, friends, and family to demand a more thorough investigation. Questions are being asked. Why did he drown when he was so careful? And did someone not want the truth he held dear to come out? Malcolm Jamal Warner's death is no longer simply a personal tragedy. It has become the symbol of an unsolved mystery, a bitter reminder of the price of truth in a world where the spotlight sometimes fails to illuminate the shadows. In the hearts of his fans, Malcolm will forever be a symbol of integrity and courage. And now, the people who loved him, will continue to search for answers about what really happened that fateful night. The sudden and mysterious death of Malcolm Jamal Warner has sparked countless questions, unconfirmed theories, and a sense of disbelief. The public, especially his longtime fans, are constantly searching for clues to explain what really happened. Meanwhile, the prolonged silence from his family and close friends has made all the doubts even more obscure than ever. Many people believe that Malcolm may have known something sensitive, and he did not have time to speak up before everything was suspiciously suppressed. The atmosphere of tension and suspicion has spread, casting a shadow over his final days. Malcolm's family, who are known for being private and always keeping their private life away from the public, only released a short statement through their representative, asking for privacy to grieve. There was no press conference, no sharing from relatives, just silence. And that silence unintentionally created a huge information void, quickly filled with unanswered questions. Many people wondered, is there some force pressuring the family to keep quiet, or is there something they are deliberately hiding? When those closest to him did not speak up, the mystery surrounding Malcolm's death made the public feel even more uneasy. Even longtime friends and colleagues of Malcolm, such as Angela Bassett and Denzel Washington, chose to express their condolences in a moderate way, avoiding mentioning the specific circumstances that led to his passing. The condolences, although sincere, carried a sense of reserve, making many people wonder if they were bound by something, from legal to hidden pressure from behind-the-scenes forces. Are they avoiding or trying to protect something? It was this secrecy that inadvertently made the story even darker. On platforms like TikTok, YouTube, and many social networking forums, netizens began to piece together the remaining fragments, thereby forming a series of dramatic hypotheses surrounding Malcolm's death and mysterious phenomena in the entertainment industry. In the past 5 years, at least 3 famous black stars have died under suspicious circumstances, and related investigations have yet to yield clear conclusions. Similarities in timing, circumstances, and subsequent silence have raised suspicions about a series of related events. Although there is no solid evidence, these hypotheses have spread rapidly, creating a strong wave of public opinion, forcing many to wonder, is this just a coincidence or a sign of something being hidden from the public eye? Teep tuc cam fa and hung ka chian day, chiu, salva cam suck. The story surrounding the suspicious death of Malcolm Jamal Warner, though not yet fully confirmed, is still a wake-up call for courage in the journey to find the truth. And especially, at the age of 70, his mother, Pamela Warner, has moved the public when she first spoke out about the doubts, premonitions, and lingering pain that she had to carry throughout the journey to find answers for her son's death. Although her perspective may be controversial, what cannot be denied is the inner strength of a mother who dares to face the pain and dares to speak up in a world full of silence. If you find this story touching your emotions, leave a comment below to share your views. And don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss the next content, where we will continue to explore stories full of depth and emotion.